We are live here tonight on American Zombie. Like to say what's up to everybody. Good to see you. This is the 5 Laws of Stupidity. Quick live stream. Figure I'd jump on, talk to a few people tonight, Saturday. People might be available. This is to let people know about Sapolo and Bonhoeffer's excellent work to protect us all, which the basic laws of human stupidity. This is the second essay, and Sapola he studies this by looking at the inevitability. Everyone underestimates the number of stupid individuals that there are in circulation. That's the first law, is that we always underestimate it. But to notice what exactly stupidity is, we'll take a look at the 4 basic types that it falls into where we can figure this out. What's up, brother Arabian? Good to see you, man. Always, bro. Definitely, man. Yeah, this is a well-needed stream for myself and others to look back at to understand these laws. You know, you have the what would be called the helpless person is the first person. They'll see a rock falling, push you out the way, and they'll get hit with it. So that is a form of stupidity. The helpless person, the person that helps another person with not just with no benefit to themselves, but with destruction to themselves. The second is the intelligent person. So the intelligent person, they'll push you out of the way and protect you and themselves. So this is a close-up of that one. Helpless person pushes a person away and gets hit by the rock or incurs the accident or the expense. And that's what we see with guys that go out, buy dinner for no reason, end up not getting the result they want. People who do things for others and end up taking a loss while others get a gain. So that's a person that they're helpless in a non-beneficial way. The intelligent person pushes them out the way, saves them, saves himself. Then on the other hand, you have the bandits. The bandits are the type of people that will use you to shield themselves from the danger. So instead of pushing you out of the way or being helpless to where they push you out of the way and they get hurt, they will use you to take the brunt force of this. These are the bandits. The stupid, the last one, this is for the definition of it, of what Sapolo, Bonhoeffer, and many others came to the conclusion of. They will try to save you, but they'll end up holding you in place and pulling you where you yourself can't get away from the danger and you get hit by it. But they don't do it as a benefit to themselves. They'll actually cause a detriment to you and them, or just to you. And that's the people that we underestimate the most in society. The first law, the inevitability that everyone underestimates the number of stupid individuals in circulation. And as we've seen in the chart, so people will know, helpless, intelligent, bandits, and stupid. The bandits have seemed to weaponize the stupid throughout society. And this is nothing against any individual or anything else. Brother Arabian Brothers, thank you for the support, bro. He said stubbornness and experience are always stupidity wins. Yes, man. It's stubbornness and experience, man, are always our ways stupidity wins. And it's true. It's like they have experience at being stupid. They're stubborn. And these are the ways that stupidity wins, man. Thank you, Brother Arabian. This is so true. And it's important because we can defend ourselves from this if we know knowledge is power to prevent us from being this way and to point out to other people and to also protect ourselves from this. Because remember, the first law of stupidity, everyone underestimates the number of stupid people or stupid individuals or individuals. We can name it as individuals that are non-beneficial, that are actually dangerous. They genuinely want to help, but they accidentally will pull you in front of the stone. They'll say, oh my goodness. And then the next thing you know, you say, man, I would have been better without their help. And that is the first law of stupidity, to underestimate that that there is a high number of these individuals or individuals that exhibit this type of behavior in circulation throughout society. The second law is the probability that a certain person, right? Stupidity is independent of any other characteristic of that person. So to a certain person, say a doctor, a person in law enforcement, we see how people can be manipulated. So to underestimate, right, to look at stupidity as not being independent, that's the problem, because it is independent. A person can be a pilot and they can still be stupid and non-beneficial in certain ways. They can do something that you say, wow, this caused harm to them and me, or just harm to the person that they're trying to help. That's the dangerous thing. So the underestimation of how many of these individuals are in society, and then the fact that it's independent of any other characteristic. So in other words, we might say, no, this person's in this position, they can't be stupid. That will always prove to be wrong, because the second law, they're independent of anything else. Doesn't matter what status they have. Stupidity has no ignorance. Ignorance has no ignorance. Calix, good to see you. Oh man, I hope you feel better, bro. Seriously, man. Yeah, definitely relax. Take it easy, bro. Glad to have you here listening. Yeah, that's yeah, man. I hope you feel better. These laws of stupidity are very important. I'm going to expound upon them. The third law they have here it actually is the explanation of a stupid person. They must have put this by accident. Again, hey, we underestimate stupidity, but this seems like a mistake. Could be again, that could be looked at as a law of stupidity. The fact that Wikipedia has this, I clipped it out to explain it. And it's saying here, it explains the stupid person for law number 3, saying that they cause losses to another person or a group while themselves deriving no gain, and even possibly incurring losses themselves. But that is the definition of what could fall into what stupid is, but not the third law. And we see here the person made the mistake. Again, this could cause a loss to someone else with no gain to them because they did something stupid right here. Right here in the Wikipedia article under Cipolla, who wrote the basic laws of human stupidity. It's ridiculous. I mean, it's ironic, to say the least, to see that there's a mistake in the laws of stupidity, the basic 5 laws. The 4th law, non-stupid people always underestimate the damaging power of stupid individuals. The person that drops the grenade, not underestimating the damage that they can do. We think, well, they're not going to do much damage. That's the 4th law. And the 5th law is a stupid person is the most dangerous type of person, period. They're more dangerous than somebody who is maliciously evil. You see, because somebody who is maliciously evil that might send somebody against you, if they use a stupid person, that person could accidentally mess up whatever mission they're on and cause problems to the bandit that's trying to send him to do harm to another individual. That's why a stupid person is more dangerous than an intentionally malicious person. Not saying that that person who is malicious is not dangerous. We're just saying that the person, according to the laws of stupidity, can hurt the other people on their side, or the people that they've been pushed out. Like the malicious person will weaponize the stupid and put them against other people. Throughout society, we see this constantly. We see this like, all right, look at a football game right here. These people have painted toxic colors, toxic paint on their skin, so that's getting absorbed. They're probably drunk and they're at a sports game. They painted fans on. I mean, if this isn't screaming for attention, what is? And the saddest thing, of course, these are sports zombies. Fan, as we know, is short for fanatic. So fanatics. And I bring in a few other things to talk about while I talk about the laws of stupidity when we see here that again the helpless person pushes you out the way and they're constantly helping people with a loss to themselves, an unintended loss. It's one thing when somebody does charity, it's another thing when somebody tries to help you and it injures them. The intelligent person, as we see, pushes you out the way, make sure he doesn't get hit as well. So helpless, intelligent, then the bandits, we see this in society. They will use you to shield themselves from danger. And inevitably the stupid person on the far right, they will try to, hey man, get out the way, and they'll pull you right into it without getting hurt. That's the weirdest thing. Well, a typical look at a stupid problem, a problem of ignorance, of just sheer, unawareness, is when drunk drivers, they get into accidents and the other people who are not drunk or who are drunk in the car end up getting ended, and the drunk driver survives, causes a loss to someone else while not incurring not intentionally. He's trying to give him a ride home. But then how smart is the person getting a ride home from somebody who is inebriated? You're safer not going to your destination, just staying safely or walking or getting a different way. It becomes real serious when we look at the laws of stupidity, man. The 5 laws, 5 basic laws, easy to remember. There's going to be more people in society than you estimate. It's independent of any other characteristic they have. The 3rd law, which they have incorrectly, that I will state now, is stupidity runs in patterns. We see this thing running in patterns constantly, over and over. The person will, if you watch, you'll see it and you'll be able to prevent yourself from it. Say this person always does this same thing and it's non-beneficial. And then the 4th law is the damage. The damage that stupidity can do is way further than what we would think it can be done. We say, they're not that much damage. They're just, you underestimate it. That can be detrimental. That can be life ending. And then the 5th law, if someone holds this type of unawareness, which is called stupidity, that is the most dangerous type of person because it's unpredictable. It's extremely unpredictable. It's one thing when it's an accident or a mistake, but it's another thing, like I said, the 3rd law of stupidity, when it runs in patterns. That's how you recognized it. And Carlo Cipolla, who wrote the basic laws of stupidity, he was born in 1922, and he passed at 78 in 2000 in Pavia. Studied at the University of Paris. And as a young man, he taught philosophy in an Italian high school. And he studied, of course, Paris, London, and obtained his first teaching post in economic history, Catania, at age 27. So the essays that he wrote, he wrote a few essays. His first essay was really about spices and stuff like that. But the second essay, The Basic Laws of Human Stupidity, in 1976, is where he explores the controversial subject of stupidity. And they say it's, as definition wise, they try to say it's a lack of intelligence, but we know, as we see, Wikipedia and other websites can be wrong. So this is why we must do our research ourselves and think. It's a lack of understanding to try. And this is not blaming somebody. This is describing them. Lack of intelligence, understanding, reason, the inability to learn, or the inability of wanting to learn. Somebody who wants to stay ignorant. And they try to say it could be innate, assumed, reacted, and it comes from the Latin word stupere. stupid characters are often used for comedy in fictional series. And Walter Pitkin, he called stupidity evil, but in a, in kind of a different way. He called it evil in a way that in a way that is like more romantic spirit, like William Blake called young belief stupidity can be the mother of wisdom. So as we look into it, we can learn from this, because this, again, the channel is about learning. Let me just see. Yeah. And we see that when we study geography and stuff, it's very important, because most people are unaware. I don't think they would be stupid, but let me just go into this part here. Yeah, as evident of the third law, he tries to say two factors. And Sapolo, he really he gets deep with this. But Bonhoeffer was the one that got hung in the concentration camps of during World War II. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, and he was a Lutheran pastor, a German Lutheran pastor. And he was the one that kind of broke it down way before Cipolla. He was born in 1906. And his father was a psychiatrist, Karl Bonhoeffer. And he came to America, but then he returned to Germany and became a lecturer in systematic theology. And, during that time, we had the Führer of Germany had been put in, or somehow got in there. And Bonhoeffer was not, he criticized it. And, that's the thing. It's really tough. It's ironic almost, because he's in a time where you see they're doing some Nazi stuff to people. And he benefits people by talking and writing about the loss about stupidity itself and how dangerous it is, helping others with a detriment to himself, which falls into the category of someone being stupid. We did learn from that, from what happened. And when he went back, he was further harassed, as he was forbidden to speak in public and required to regularly report his activities, because he was a man that saw. He was a man that saw, but not only saw, he said. And that was the thing. He had to be very careful. And he ended up getting executed a few weeks before they liberated that camp. And it's really sad. It's really sad, because of a guy that could see things, but he didn't realize, kind of like how they say Tesla died in a way where it didn't benefit him. The guy was such a genius, but how much of a genius in certain area? See, this is when we look at the types of intelligence. Sometimes if you're not socially intelligent or politically intelligent to understand what things can happen, then we learn from this. Dietrich Bonhoeffer, an amazing person, but he wasn't politically aware of the dangers of what they would do, or the extent, again, not underestimating the damage that stupid people can do. And what they did was they executed him. And then him falling into the thing of saying is trying to help other people by letting people know. And it's not a benefit to him. It helps us. So that falls into the law right there, the definition right there, actually, of what they would say about a person like this. But continuing with his idea, he discusses the idea of simple obedience. Remember, law, and it's hard for people to see, law legitimizes aggression. It legitimizes it, which is stemmed from authority, which is stemmed from the fiction of government. This is pretty hard for some people to see. I'll break it down in the future, how law is actually government, the fiction of government, which of course means mind restriction, falls into creating another fictional figure, an authority, If we don't think each other are worthy of ruling us, then why do we put other people that have been known to been deceitful to rule us? Power is a straight mind control type of thing. It's all based in the mind. It's totally psychological. But the zombies throughout society hold each other in place like a school of fish when they swim, and they can sense the pressure between each other. So any turn or twist, you see the whole school of fish move in unison, just like the mentality of crowds that are controlled. And it's serious. It's serious because it's getting more pervasive throughout society. You're starting to see people that, I mean, to have somebody walking and looking down at a screen where there's many videos of people getting struck by motor vehicles while they're walking, that's pretty unaware. We've seen it happen with bicycles and other things. People walk into being unaware, but nothing is close to while they're looking at the phone. There used to be these commercials about showing you the wrecks of cars from people who were texting and driving and ended up getting in accidents. So the distraction, if somebody can be distracted that easily while they're operating a motor vehicle, which a very dangerous position they're in right now. They have to be careful. They're going from one point to their destination. And while they're doing that, that's a test right there. That's, you're going somewhere. We take it for granted. We look at it like, hey, it's not a big thing. We're just driving somewhere. But remember, you have to watch out for other people as well. You could be driving, and if you're not aware, like say the light is green and you're passing through it, you still have to be aware somebody might blow the red light. And that, again, that person who's unaware or would be classified as stupid that blows the red light could end up ending you, but having nothing happen to them. They could survive. I mean, this is something to consider. People, again, American Zombie, we know that people are zombified, which could be put into the stupid category. Chad, 5577, good to see you. Dangerous position. Sometimes I do it to blend into society, but dudes always be looking to rob you when you're on your phone like that. Yeah, man, you look at the unawareness. Like if you ever look at the original Time Machine, the people that were like grazing and they were raising them like cattle, instead of calling them sheep or something, in the movie they call them Eloi. So we got a society of Eloi, straight Eloi. And when the bell rings, they walk into the meat grinder to be food. Alexis, good to see you. He says, stupidity isn't failing to understand. It's believing you understand something you never actually did. Yeah, man. That's a good way of defining it. That's a dangerous form of stupidity. That's like stupidity mixed with a little bit of ignorance there. And, we're talking about behavior. This is my opinion, to help people, to say, look, man, this is serious stuff. The mind. What's up, brother?
What's up? I heard some of your talk so far. The subject matter, I really resonate with it, so I want to add some stuff here and there.
Please do. Yeah.
Okay. What was the first thing you said? The authority thing. I really do think that's the thing I learned.
Mm-hmm. I think your mic went out a
And
little.
authority.
The first thing you learned, could you repeat it? Your mic went out a little. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Leadership and authority, those are two different things, but a lot of
Yeah.
times leadership does take an authority role, so it's hard to tell the difference between the two.
Well, leadership is someone who will help you. They'll lead you, but they'll also help you. And that's a person, authorities are put into leadership positions. So a good
True, I
person,
agree.
yeah, you know what I'm saying? A leader, a true leader, when they're put in that position, will help you. The authority who's put into that position most likely will not. They'll use that psychological like type of game, that the game of power, to control a person and keep them a
Yeah,
slave
definitely.
forever. Yeah, I mean it's and it's created by creating the first fictional character or entity, which is the government. So to say government instead of people governing themselves, which takes a lot, because first you say, okay, we need to have land to create food, to grow food, to say, and raise food. So you're raising livestock and food, and then a way to keep that going. Because if something happens, you got to figure out like, okay, what's wrong? Does the soil need nutrients? How does this, type of science or understanding of the ecosystem to say, okay, if we grow certain crops, they'll pull nitrogen from the air, fix it in the soil, we can compost them, and now the soil regenerates to grow the other crops that we can eat from. When you can still eat from nitrogen fixing crops like beans and certain things, I think, fix nitrogen.
Yeah,
So
definitely.
yeah, this is where you say, okay, now I'm free, or we're mostly free from the government's from the need to ask the government to feed. And people used to be like that before the 40s. Like that guy that came on, even though he grew up and he said there were supermarkets on every corner, it's because that's when they were first starting. That's when it switched from growing everything, almost 80%, 90% in your backyard, and just needing things like salt, or if you didn't have livestock, you would trade or trade labor or other produce or something
Yeah.
for the livestock meat. So now you're in direct contact with that, and and it frees you to an extent, because when you look at that,
Yeah, trading and
and you,
bartering's not bad. They literally try to make it seem like it's like we made so much progress because of capitalism and stuff. I think we could have had it done through trading and bartering, but because of empires, it made it a lot easier just to use money, right?
I mean, just
Uh, I
looking
wanted
at uh-huh.
I
Go ahead.
wanted to I wanted to say one thing in regards to what somebody was saying about just kind of he ends up like looking at his phone and trying to like blend into the crowd. I don't think that really works because from my experience, I think the zombies, right? They automatically notice a non-zombie. Like that's the thing that zombies are capable of, if nothing else, is being able to spot someone who is not of their own kind. Like that's who they chase after, is non-zombies. So they can pretty much spot one out when one's in the crowd, a person, like a regular person, because that's what they feed off of.
Yeah.
Like
Yeah.
so I think awareness itself, once somebody who's aware enters a room, everybody who is in a state of unawareness, their attention gets kind of drawn to the person who is aware. Okay, that's what I was gonna say. So it's kind of, I think personally for me it's hard to not be noticed by everybody once, like just by walking into a room.
Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. No, I hear what you're saying. Um, Alexis says, what's the most common form of stupidity? Well, I would say believing what someone hears. Like when someone hears something, believing it without researching to see if it's true, without looking or without thinking, where did you get this information from? And the person that you got it from, or the source, how credible is that? Can I check to see if it's true? So that's a common form, because people will believe something and then they'll pass it on to someone else and pass it on. And
Thinking that
that's
they
how,
know, thinking
yeah,
they know what the hell they're talking about because they heard somebody say a thing that they believe.
yep, exactly. And now this thing can cause a problem for you. Again, like the definition of stupidity, something that can hurt you, but the person doesn't gain nothing from it. So it's not malicious, because if they gain something from it, then they're a bandit, then they're malicious, because they're causing harm to you while they get gain. if they cause harm to you without gain, it's like, wow, this person's just stupid, man. It's like if I don't protect myself from what they're saying, they might say, hey, I heard this, that they're not, going to be having the thing today, and you don't go, and then you find out, wow, you missed it because you listened to a person that basically believes what they're told would be fall into the classification of being stupid or ignorant. I mean, ignorance is usually chosen. Stupidity, it just is. We fall into that for some reason, and we can always fall back into that by being unaware, to say, you know what, let me check this. Like we said before with the maps, when we looked at it of Europe and stuff like that. So the most common form, yeah, that's what it is. Good question, man. Yeah, the MPK models, yeah. I mean, the stuff that goes on, man. There is girl. Oh, I think we got Mr. X here. Mr. X, good to see you, brother. Let me see. So, like, when we were talking on the last one, with one thing would be like, all right, when people, yeah, hey, what's up? Yeah, we can hear you. Are you there? Yeah. We were talking about like the map with Europe.
Now I can hear you.
Yeah, so yeah, this is the map of Asia, and I made sure I got it. And if somebody's told, well, Europe is a continent, and they don't know that a continent is one piece of land. So this is Asia, with the western part of Asia is Europe. With this color-coded map, you can see that the colors on the left, that's considered to be Europe, which there's no separation. Now, we see Africa as a continent to the lower left, which is separate. The only strip that would be touching is where it hits up above over there where Lebanon and Saudi Arabia, like right below above Saudi Arabia. But when we look at it on this map, we see that it's all joined together. I mean, you have the Caspian Sea, the Dead Sea, the Black Sea, a couple of seas in there, but it's all one landmass. And going over to the left, you see a few islands, which would be England, Ireland, and Iceland. But Sweden and Norway and Finland and all that are connected to the main part of Asia, the northwest. And when somebody says that Europe is a separate continent, we start to realize that creates a cognitive dissonance. And it's nothing against anybody from those areas, whether it be Asia or Europe. It's to say this type of classification is used to separate people, which when they get separated in that way, now they can be easier turned against one another. They can be manipulated more. And we see this with other parts of the world as well, the separation. Now, I think Aaron Daddy Roy was the one that said flags are like, they're pieces of cloth used to shrink wrap the mind and then bury the person in as a funeral shroud. And when we see this, when we look at people who are patriotic, we see the political infection, the political zombification of the mind. It's great. People come from whatever country they come from, but not to realize that every country is basically based on a psychological form of mind control that creates that government authority law type of scenario. Like we see the law, it legitimizes aggression. It says, hey, you know what? These people, I don't think people are worthy to rule other people because everybody has flaws. Nobody's perfect. But we're going to put these people in charge and give them the power of that, like the power of basically life and death over all of us.
And I also would like to add, law enforcement historically was kind of made for like certain hierarchies, and those hierarchies a lot of times involved money, like some kind of wealth distribution that was kind of gained by force.
Yeah. Well, they say that in England, the rich would get robbed when they would try to cross certain parks at night. and they created the police to protect them. And then as they saw, not only could they be used to protect them, but they could also be used to suppress and extort the poor. And now the police, as we see, are the first line of defense to keep you in a cage, a prison without walls. And if you don't listen, you go to a cage that has walls, but they are there to keep a person nervous. And if a town were to defeat the police, that's when the National Guard would be brought in. And if the
That,
National Guard is defeated, then the army, the armed
well, that's what I was
forces.
gonna ask. The next question: what is the difference from a police and army, a soldier?
The police are like a civilian type of restriction.
Right.
The military is federal, so and the National Guard is state. So the police, they're all there meant to keep you in a type of cage, that in a type of mental restriction, to say, okay, we're going to let you think that you're free. But as we see, this is a big experiment. So when they pollute rivers, when they do things that are detrimental to us, we won't say nothing. And if we do say something, they'll send the police to try to stop that. If people defeat the police, then they'll have the National Guard come in. I think they had that done in California
Mhm.
recently. Mr. X, you had something?
Yeah, definitely, definitely. It's a good subject you brought up about the laws of stupidity. I think it's actually a very important subject. So I'm glad you brought it up because one thing we got to realize why it's such an important topic is, like, for instance, some of the people I interact with, and you can tell, the stupidity in them, but they
Mhm.
can also become very violent because if you got to be very careful how you talk to certain people because you may be talking one way and they'll, because of their stupidity, they'll interpret it something completely different.
Yeah, true. I get
Yeah,
crazy
so
violent. They'll want to
and
like kill
crazy
you. Like, oh,
violated
I didn't even say that. I didn't even say that.
because they
Okay, I'm gonna
think you're
mute.
saying something that you're not saying. You know what I'm saying? Like, say you're talking about a current affair and a topic, and say, I don't know, like the George Floyd incident that happened many years ago, and you brought up something that, they'll just interpret it like you're taking a side when you were taking a side. Say you were quoting a law or something like that. It's just, you got to walk on eggshells with these people because they can go to violence very quickly.
Or
Very
like
quickly.
if you're sharing somebody else's perspective and you're just like, this is what people think about this thing, and you're not even
Hmm.
holding that belief or anything. You're just like saying what other people think about it. They start attacking you like you believe in that thing just because you're presenting the information.
Exactly. Exactly. You can't play devil's advocate with them because they think that's what you think. You know what I mean? It's just that their level, you got to be able to recognize stupidity for what it is and not engage with them, talk to them a certain way and not engage with them on other topics. Like when they bring up something that's kind of controversial, whether it be the elections. Like I brought one lady, she just wanted to talk to me about elections and the presidency. And she was confirmed that I supported Trump, even though I didn't support Trump. But it's like, I didn't want to engage with her in this conversation. And I said, well, I don't vote. I don't vote. And she's like, well, you're part of the problem then. So, okay, whatever. I say, I don't even follow this stuff. I don't even know what you're talking about because I don't want to engage with stupidity. It's not, you got to know who you can talk. And like on this stream with MD and yourself, I can come on here and I feel I can talk freely because you can understand where I'm coming from. There's no, this is like an outlet for me. But I don't have these kind of conversations on the regular with people because I know what's out there. The zombies are real.
Yeah, you're right. Absolutely. And what you're doing is right, because you're protecting your mind, because they can infect. We already know.
Hmm.
Uh,
Yeah.
Alexis, brother, thank you for the support. Alexis says, MD, do you agree with this famous saying, fool me once, shame on me. Fool me twice, shame on you. No, it's actually the reversed. Wait. Yeah. So when somebody fools you once, right? It's shame on them. They fooled me. You did something bad to me once. And I see that, okay, you fooled me, man, that was wrong. But if you fool me again, then that's the shame on me, because you just showed me who you were. Yeah, no, it's cool, man. Yeah, it's a good thing I caught that, man. See, that actually tested me. and it's a good thing because I had to look at it. See, that's a good thing too. You can tell if somebody's listening to what you're saying, because if I would have said, yeah, man, and went ahead with it, and we all here to teach each other. So definitely please point it out when I'm wrong, because everybody can be wrong. But yeah, and this shows that, okay, yeah, because I was looking and I said, wait a minute, I think it's a little, yeah, it's reversed. But yeah, man, if someone fools you, yeah, man, that's wrong. That's wrong for them to do. But if they do it a second time, then that's the person's fault, because it's saying, hey, you saw what this person did the first time. So yeah, the saying is very true. The saying teaches us to take responsibility for our own ignorance. If we ignore the fact that the person fooled us once, then the second time it's a shame on us because we didn't remember. And that's a part of intelligence. Memory is definitely, yeah.
Can I speak about being a fool? Speaking of fools, I would like to tell a story regarding that because I think that fits into kind of what we're talking about here. It's basically like a story, something along the lines of a guy was friends with the bear, and the bear was kind of real dumb, right? It was a very foolish bear, and basically like the bear saw the guy told the bear like, okay, you can hang out with me. You just need to make sure you keep the flies away from my face because the flies keep on messing with me when I sleep. So the guy fell asleep. The bear saw the flies around, and the bear tried to get the flies away. So what he did was he got a big rock and he smashed the guy's head with the rock. So that's basically the story. And the lesson is don't have foolish friends because it could end very badly for you.
That's a good example of the laws of stupidity. That, well, it more like shows you the definition of it. Something incurring, it makes the person get damaged without any gain. They're actually trying to help you, but because they're trying to smash a mosquito that's hovering over your face with a rock, too unaware to see the danger that it's going to cause to you. And we see like, wow, no gain to the bear, but detriment to the other person. And Alexis, you're right, man. How many times have politics fooled people? It has such a big meaning. Yes. Throughout decades, you got people that can remember from when they were in their 20s, 18, when they first voted, maybe, and have never seen it changed throughout their whole life. Only politicians getting worse and more corrupt. And that says a lot. That says the first law of stupidity, that we will always underestimate the amount of stupid people in society. To say, just look at the vote. When you see the amount of people voting and not realizing what it's really about, you start to say, wow, this is an epidemic. And then the second law, that stupidity is independent of any other characteristic that a person has. They can be any status level and be stupid. When somebody says they're an authority and it's okay to poison the water supply with, or to, well, what's a better way to say it, to keep within the guidelines, this is my opinion, that to pollute the water supply. So that's a safer way to say it, which pollution can be poisonous. We see that. Okay. When we look at that, and yeah, exactly. If you voted once, fool on them. Yep. If you voted twice, and yeah, it's the shame on you. Exactly. The when we look at the stuff like throughout society, the way like all right, they're spraying stuff, right? So I have the atrazine charts again. So this is the atrazine charts. U.S. maps of atrazine use and predicted concentrations in groundwater. On the left is the use on where it's sprayed, that light green mist over the United States. On the right is the predicted atrazine and diethyl atrazine in shallow groundwater. beneath agricultural land. So it still sits in the water. And these are the states where they found it in the drinking water. Not too many people care. So it's a serious thing. Pollution, to show you how we can call it unaware or even ignorance to ignore the fact that pollution is going to affect successive generations, and people with children haven't really thought that out, or have been so distracted by the machine's other ways to distract us that it has brought over the last, say, 40 years a highly more concentration of pollution. We've seen it with the microplastics, right? So we see the fact that microplastics now here are inside of zooplankton, inside of these microscopic plankton, is just ridiculous. I mean, this is to a point of some serious stuff here. These microplastics, nanoplastics too, a billionth of a meter, all throughout the water system, all throughout the water. They're in agricultural soils, and now they're testing and finding them in samples of human semen. I would go as far as to say that they're probably in ovaries, possibly even the eggs.
Well, they're in bone marrow, that's for sure. I saw a study that was saying that they're finding it in bone marrow.
Oh my goodness. That is crazy.
And preservatives, the parabens, they are attacking the endocrine system. That's a fact.
This is unbelievable. This is like some Frankenstein thing, and we're again the survivors in the zombie apocalypse of the mentally dead. The fact that nobody cares. We showed how there are studies saying that it's in the blood, and that's passing through the blood-brain barrier. And plastics, they're saying micro and nanoplastics, because nanoplastics now can permeate the cell, in theory. This is serious stuff.
Yeah.
The fact that it's in semen, for the tests are showing that nobody cares. There's only a few of us, and we're starting to say, like, wow, this is the fact that it's in these parts of the body is the first, thing, right? But the fact that not many people care about it, that's the frightening thing. That's
and if you bring it up, it's like you're bringing kryptonite to Superman. They just want to reject it. It's like, get out of here! Don't tell me about this.
Have you heard about Earth Biome 2?
Earth Biome 2, is that the like a biodome?
Yeah, it's a biodome.
I mean,
I think that would be cool if we have a biodome. I mean, if we had a good enough biodome that can or however long, I think that would be kind of cool. They have one already.
But I think they're saying that the biodome is really still not self-sufficient. Like they had
they did say that.
Yeah, so so really it's just a matter of time before it's kind of like just saying, okay, we're in something that might last for 2 or 3 years, but then it's not going to be sustainable. So yeah, it could prolong a little, but when we look at the main problem is to say, what are they doing? What are they doing to where we would need a biodome, right? And a biodome that doesn't last on top of that. Black Circle, my brother, good to see you, man, from across the sea. Oh, it was a pleasure, man. Yeah, this is the laws of stupidity are so important that people's lives depend on it, basically, because we know that if you trust a stupid person, like in anything, a taxi cab driver, if you take an Uber somewhere and that person takes a chance and goes across, say, an intersection, even though they have the green light and they're not aware, because all of a sudden you could go across a green light and realize a truck is coming, smash on your brakes and just miss it, or it hits even the front of the Uber. So the passenger is basically safe. The car, could move, whatever. But if you catch it T-bone style, where the truck hits you right where the doors are, that can be fatal. So just that little bit of awareness can save your life. But again, we know that the first law of stupidity, there's more stupid people in society than we ever estimate. We always underestimate that. I don't know if it's hoping that somebody might not be stupid, or just thinking that no, it's not possible for that many people to be stupid.
Self
But
self projection.
Self-projection, you said?
Yeah, you just like see yourself in others, and you assume they're smarter than they actually are.
Could be that. Yeah, definitely. That could be one of the things that could cause that. Trust is another one. When people say they believe in the goodness of others, and I'm not saying that a person is not good, but they could be stupid. And like we showed in the picture, that even though this person is good, and they're not evil, and they're saying, "Hey, I want to help you," right? They're 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 where is it? It's this one. They're grabbing you on the right and they're saying, "Oh my goodness, I want to help you," but they're pulling you in the way of the rock falling, in the way of danger, genuinely trying to help you. That's a scary thing. That's a scary thing to see, that someone would really want to help you, because our good nature would say, "Yeah, man, this person is a good person and I trust them." But I have to also be aware that they'll unintentionally, not maliciously, by accident, do something that could help, that could hurt, in under the disguise of trying to help. MD, is the edible coatings, wax peels they put on fruits to make it last longer a red flag? Yeah, man, it really is. And the saddest thing about that is there's ways to kind of like get it off. I think there's some videos that I don't know if they work, but it really shows us that we need to have a better relationship with farmers. So, and sometimes a person might say, "Well, there's no apple farms or there's no fruit farms around me." And that's tough, man. That's a tough situation. People might need to drive to areas and say, "Look, I know you spray your fruits before you bring them to the market. Could I please buy produce before you spray them?" Most farmers will ask for money at the beginning of the season. And then they say when it starts to harvest, they'll let you get like baskets of food, of vegetables, as the season goes on. Every week, you get a certain amount. And that's actually a pretty good deal. Some of them will exchange it for that and maybe a little labor too. But the thing is, you're able to beat that. It's very hard to find fruits that are not sprayed with the wax. It really is. Even the like chili peppers and stuff like that, and cucumbers, sometimes they'll put an oil on them. They'll spray an oil so they look shiny. The produce thing is just, it's off the handle, man. It's almost to the point of Soylent Green, like that movie. It really is. And then again, not many people care, because the laws of and additives added to our food. What is that? Yeah, man. The additives are usually made to preserve and as filler too. They were caught putting I think it was a type of sawdust as a filler in certain ground coffees. So if you have like coffee husk insects that might fall in there when it's getting grounded up, a certain percentage of that is allowed in commercially ground coffee. Peanut butter especially.
Didn't they say that that's allowed with human with DNA too? Like so much percentage is allowed in the meat.
Mm-hmm. Yep. I mean, people have reported getting fingers and stuff in cans of tomato sauce that have been cut off during the canning process, and they can't find which can. They're not going to recall everything. Alexa says, just Google it. Additives are substances added to products to improve flavor. That's the thing. The proper word, like we know, I'm really on language, to alter the flavor to where it tastes better. They'll say improve because remember, improve sounds like you're making it better, healthier. You're improving it. They're geniuses of manipulation. The proper scientific way would be to alter the flavor to be to alter the flavor to be more addictive tasting because it's gonna, taste can get you addicted. The appearance, definitely. Food coloring, the texture, and or the shelf life. Yes. Yes.
MD, can I mention about farmland
Yeah. Yeah.
and
Yeah.
farming? Because is it just a coincidence or was it planned out that you look at on the earth, the most fertile lands, like say Central America, Cuba, especially, a huge island, almost the size of Florida, where I've been told, people there in Cuba, they could throw a seed and it'll start growing because the
Mhm.
land is so fertile that these countries have the worst governments where they don't have mass farming or commercial grade farming going on because of the governments that were put in place. Is
Mhm.
that coincidence or was that deliberate on a world scale to reduce the food supply or to control the food supply? These fertile lands with terrible governments that don't allow commercial grade farming. You see what I'm saying? It
Mhm.
seems like it was all planned out on a world scale. I don't believe that the people had a revolution, this and that. That's the BS story we were told in school. I think it was controlled on a world level, saying we all these areas with the most fertile lands, the tropical climates, we have to control them. We cannot allow this much food to be supplied to the world. I don't think it's
Exactly.
coincidence, you know?
No, you're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. You're seeing deep through the illusion because
Hmm.
that's exactly what they're doing. What you said, they have to control it because if we could produce that much food, people would be they would feel happy. And
Yeah.
it's like they don't. I don't know. I think feeling happy like pushes away some type of malevolent force when people feel good and happy and healthy.
Hmm.
And when they're in turmoil, they feed on that. Like I think it was David Icke that may have talked about it, that they feed on fear. They want
Hmm.
constant turmoil. That's their food. So war and like how the Vietnam vets saw those what appeared to be demonic creatures through the red night vision lens whenever they were going on kill missions. It's as if they're there ready to harvest some type of energy off of the dying and the dead and the ones doing the killing. um this is really like when it could be why something is always behind the scenes keeping man in a perpetual state of conflict,
Yeah.
right? It seems that way.
And in Puerto Rico, which is a U.S. territory, they're not, I believe that they're not allowed. I know you can't take agriculture from there because they look for that before you leave,
Mhm.
but that's a U.S. territory and they're not allowed to export agriculture. How does that make any sense?
Yeah, it's just what you said exactly. They're controlling the food supply.
Hmm.
They're controlling, and then they eventually get there and they will bring in those pesticides that will make that fertile land unfertile.
Yeah.
And then they'll bring in the genetically modified seeds. So the genetically modified seeds will come in, and those seeds can only be grown with certain fertilizers, which are chemical that kill the soil as well. And then they're sprayed with the atrazine, which I showed in the chart. The atrazine, I mean, the fact that this much is being, it's in the green states with it in the water, and I would say it goes even further. But the fact that we can look at a map and see it sprayed on the left, and then on the right see that it's still in the groundwater. I mean, that's crazy. I mean, it's like an iceberg. This iceberg picture here, I use this to show people the tip of the iceberg is what we're seeing. All of the stuff underneath the water, that is immense. That's actually like 75% or more of the iceberg is under the water that you can't even see. So if people think it's just a floating little top, no, the majority, I mean, this thing is like, it's like, it would be like hitting an island almost. And that's how the
I would
atrazine,
like to. I
huh?
would like to add also the whole genetically modified organisms, because they have mosquitoes and ticks that they have been releasing into the environment to try to depopulate the
Well,
mosquitoes or
remember, we got to
whatever.
say that that's your opinion according to YouTube guidelines. You know, we say, okay, your
Yeah.
opinion is that they're releasing it in there. Yeah.
Well, I think that's been on record, but yeah, I guess in my opinion,
Yeah. Plum
from what I've
Island.
seen,
Yeah.
huh?
They try to say Plum Island is where they're saying that they created certain, uh,
Lyme disease,
yeah, like they
100%.
No,
try to
no, no,
say,
not
I
that,
think
not that. There's been on record, like I believe,
in
hasn't
my
Bill
opinion.
Gates been on record saying he's been working with genetically modified mosquitoes to
Oh, yeah,
try to
for the Zika virus or something
yeah.
like that. Yeah, to try to, yeah, it is on record. Um, Yeah, I mean, I think the previous governor of Florida, the blonde guy, I forgot his name. He would shave his head real low, almost bald, before
Oh,
DeSantis.
I know who you're talking about. Yeah, I can't
Yeah,
remember his name though.
he had a patent too on mosquitoes. I think it was they might have had an article on it, I think. So anybody can look this up that you got them genetically modifying certain insects. I mean, this is serious stuff that needs to be looked into. But like again, when we try to go further from stuff like this, we realize and salute Nate. Good to see you, brother. Yeah, this is something that's the stupid or the ignorant or the unaware will try to hold us back. They'll try to say, well, you know, there's an acceptable amount. So there's a hormone, there's a pesticide that affects the hormones. Atrazine. Tyrone Hayes, I think he's a PhD, but he is a scientific researcher, has based his career on studying the African frog, which is all over the southern US and California and stuff like that. And seeing how these frogs are changing gender according to the atrazine, and not just changing gender, but fully changing to the where they can reproduce now. So what was a male frog is supposedly said in the research to be able to change sex and be able to reproduce. I had did a stream on this a while ago where the eggs in fish are becoming eggs bound in certain instances. Certain male birds are getting egg sacs, but people think that that's not affecting people, and it's going it on the chart itself. It's just frightening. It's just frightening to look at the fact that this is sprayed all over the United States. All of these green states is being found in the water, and the other states that they say it's not found in the water, sometimes they're not testing. Remember, it's one thing that is off the handle is corruption. Corruption is off the handle in a way that is just almost unexplainable. To see the president say what he said, now I'm not saying what's going on in Minnesota is good, but if you want to keep people where they're looking for a solution instead of just hating one another, you would say it in a certain way. You would say, like, look, there's some people that have come over from Somalia that do not have the best interests in the country at hand. There are some people that come over to work and to actually add to the community, but maybe the majority are not doing that. But not all of them. The way he says, like, oh, you know, he doesn't really like them or whatever, and that again, these followers, these zombies that follow political opponents, they're going to be basically weaponized to hate because they're not smart enough to think. They're not choosing. It's not that they're not smart, they're choosing not to think. If they would just think, but in the middle of trying to think, they're like, hey, here's a distraction. Here's a sports game. And again, here's the president telling you how to act. So instead of saying like, hey, there's a small amount of these people that came over here to work and to help or to add to the thing with their high level, if they have it like a degree and work in some type of science field, which we see a lot with Asians and Indians coming over for a long time. No, we see a majority of them coming over and like definitely and religiously too, trying to turn places into ghettos. And instead of saying it in a tactful way, no, we have a guy that's like just right off of a reality show. It's really sad. And I'm not saying, what's happening is over there. It's really messed up.
Can I
Alexis,
mention one thing too? Because William Cooper said in his book, Behold a Pale Horse, that the end game was what they're going to bring in martial law eventually. And it seems like that's what they're doing right now. They're just using this whole immigration thing. You think it's all planned out. They want to bring in martial law. Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's already martial law. It's just that the volume is on 4.
Mm-hmm.
When they turn the volume up, you'll see that, oh, it was here.
Right.
Alexis says Alex Jones, an awakened person or a zombie. He was the first to point out the frogs. Yeah, he was the one that used because the research was out there. The research was already published. He said it in a way that was commercial, that was marketable, because he would do it that way. Now I do think he's a plant in some way.
Yeah,
He's
controlled opposition. That's what I always say.
Yeah, controlled opposition, definitely. Because if he wasn't, he would be saying the simple message of what I said. If you have money or people with money, people could work together and look into places with land that are in areas that are a little bit away from the pollution. Now, the map that I showed, we see that they're spraying that stuff everywhere. So one thing, and how Alex Jones made a lot of his money, is selling water filters. But the thing is you have to not just sell water filters. You have to say, look, we have to make these things. It's not hard to make. So we have to get certain levels of cotton, certain grades of charcoal to filter the water through, and then learn how to test it, because that's the test. Reverse osmosis usually is the best type of water filtration. Maybe even you might have to combine that with a distillation process. So a distiller is going to boil the water, evaporate it, and then condensate it back again. So you're going to get stuff out by evaporating it. But then there are some things that don't evaporate, they're saying. So now you need other ways to get that out, which would be the filter, possibly. The reverse osmosis is supposed to go into a certain micron. So a certain level, like a micro stands for millionth. So the micron, they're saying, gets like everything out, all minerals. Now, I don't know. And this is where people would need to work together and say, we need to find out, how do we know? How do we retest that? There was a thing that they were selling as a water distillation device that was glass. And it was creating laboratory level grade. And this is the thing that the younger generation can learn. We can say, all right, look, we bought the equipment. So now we know it takes this long to filter this much water, so many gallons. Because reverse osmosis and stuff like that, filter it kind of slow because they got to squeeze it through the filter. So you're looking at maybe an hour, you might produce a gallon or 2, maybe at most 2 gallons. So you have to have a constantly running system to say, okay, we need to have this type of water for when we shower, because you're absorbing about 6 cups of water when you shower through your skin. And when chlorine is in that, that actually, if in the bathroom, when you have the shower and it's hot, you're inhaling some of that chlorine gas, because chlorine off gas off gases from water. So it would be like, okay, we need an area where we have a water supply that's clean and a filtration system that can still clean it, because we never know what they're doing to the water supply. An area that also has area to grow food and raise livestock. Then some type of medical facility to treat anything that goes wrong, because sometimes they have problems with certain livestocks. I wouldn't recommend raising pigs because pigs carry a vast amount of parasites. So it would be probably sheep, lamb, cow, and maybe chicken, and maybe duck. The duck, they say, is a little easier with massive amounts of agriculture. So now that set up with other places set up like that. Now there are other places they can also grow, like California. You can grow a lot of stuff, in Florida too. You can have fruits now. So you won't just have vegetables like on a farm, maybe with certain berry, you might be able to grow blueberries or something. But now you can actually grow oranges. You can get orchards from New York and other states in the north that have apples, more of a cool weather. Georgia grows peaches. If you can get these things work with a network. But Jones, as we see, was just he was commercial. Why are fools so obsessed with famous people? Myself could care less about what the Kardashians are doing. Man, they are obsessed. That's the brain rot that they're creating. The brain rot that they're creating in people, man. It just gets them to become celebrity zombies. The way I see the fact that Taylor Swift has so many fans, at a concert, you look at that and it's like, what is that?
Is she really that talented? Because I don't even know any of her songs. Is she that talented? It seems just it's so manufactured, and people fell for it.
Mm-hmm.
Because I don't see the talent. I don't hear what's so great about them. It's not like the old songs where you had talent and it was real artistry. Now it's just they can manufacture something and the zombies will eat it up.
They eat that up so bad. It's like
Mhm.
she she is used as a political celebrity, because I think she went, like, she's a Democrat, I think,
Mhm.
and she was pushing that, like, when her I think it was the football guy she was dating, and they were trying to put her and the NFL together when she
Mhm.
was dating that guy, and it was so orchestrated. It was almost to the point it was nauseating.
Don't her tickets cost like thousands of dollars to go see her in concert?
I don't know. I don't know if
I've heard somewhere that it was like ridiculous amounts. It's like people are paying for this nonsense, but they are.
that's crazy.
Mhm.
And you think about it, it's like, yeah, they will save up for something like that. And the Mr. Beast, yeah, like Alexa said, it is the younger generation. You look at Mr. Beast, I forgot who it was that said, man, that guy's just got like a soulless smile. Like there's something weird about his smile. And his partner, I think, was LG. So it was like he supports that agenda. Like there's something very weird about that. Why would the guy who's the top YouTuber be called, have Beast in his name, Mr. Beast?
Mm.
It just, it makes you wonder, like, wait a minute, why wouldn't it be something different? Like even PewDiePie, when he was the top guy, what type of a name is PewDiePie, man?
Yeah.
It's like, what? I don't get this. It really, yeah. Yeah, it's really
Some of these TV reality shows are the stupidest things I've ever seen, but people love them.
yeah. Yeah,
They
it's
love them.
buffoonery. It's
Yeah.
buffoonery on another level. Why do so many people
You know
follow
what?
these
Okay,
things?
I'm gonna have to jump in here. I actually looked into it, and because I've looked at some of the brain rot, and I kind of engaged in it a little bit. just to see, where what's the hype about, right? What's the thing? And from my analysis, there is some form of obviously some brainwashing involved in all of this.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So yeah, I think the brain rot is literally brain
Well, they're saying that it
just the
comes from
content.
the short form video. Luigi says Luigi never gives up. This is hilarious. That name. Why are fools in America not caring about rapid amounts of immigration coming in, changing the country? The brainwashed fools are welcoming millions of military men. I mean, one thing you have to realize, it's the people making the laws, the people allowing that in. So to blame the person coming in is looking at it like from the bottom up. It's not really logical to look at it that way. You're saying, wait a minute, what are they signing into law? Remember, these are the guys that are playing us against each other. The fact that they will keep you under the thumb and let somebody come in here shows you it's not the immigrant. They're using that person as a tool to spark an opposition. So a
Yeah,
smart
whole
person would
political
say,
thing.
yeah, it's sort of like, why are you letting this person in here? And not saying, hey, these guys are bad. We already know that a lot of people are coming over here with ill intention. But we're saying, wait, who's letting them in? And we saw it with Biden. We've seen it with Trump. These people are playing us. They play people against each other. Clearly.
Divide and
Wow.
conquer.
Wow. This is crazy, man.
Yeah, I
It
gotta
is
go to
really
work
crazy.
tomorrow in the morning, but it was fun hanging out for a little bit.
Yeah.
I did
It's
want to
always,
just throw in my 2 cents.
yeah, always a pleasure, man. Thank you, bro. Thank you for coming on.
All right, I'll
All
talk
right.
to you later.
Yeah. All right, man. Have a good night. He says, why are the lawmakers allowing this to happen? Well, yeah, exactly. Exactly. You see, exactly. You're looking at it in the right way. It's looking at the lawmakers because they want people to say, they want to say, hey, look, 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 all the immigrants. It's like, well, wait a minute. You let them in. You let them in. And then when people try to arrest them, they change the law saying, oh, it's got to be over $1,000 in New York. I mean, come on. That's just it. I don't, the level of open corruption is just it's almost unfathomable, man. It's almost unfathomable to think of the level of open corruption and how they try to say, look, it's the Somali. You know how President Trump tried to say the stuff about the Somali. So, well, wait a minute. You have the power. You always had the power to change that. But no, you want to start people against each other, saying that you don't like them, and you know that these brainwashed zombies are going to follow what you say. I mean, remember when Trump was first in office and they had the Tiki Torch March? Those dudes that were marching around with those tiki torches. I mean, that's like the level of zombification with that was just on another level.
But you never know if they're paid too, because some of these groups on right and left, some of them are paid. They're
Mm-hmm.
plants, and they're
Yeah.
put in there just to. I'm sure that happened on the January 6th. There were some of them were paid. I think they exposed some of them. There's always something going on
Mm-hmm.
behind the scenes. It's never by chance.
Yeah. Yeah. I
Yeah.
mean, just the fact that people would even do that, even if they're paid, it's like paid to bring turmoil.
Hmm.
So we start to see that's not good. Like if you pay a stupid person, we already know what's going to happen. They're going to go around causing harm to people, thinking under the disguise of thinking that they're going to help them, and they'll be hurting them more than they're helping them.
Yeah.
Unintentionally. That's the craziest thing. That's the crazy. It's strictly. Remember Dumb and Dumber when they thought the guy was, he needed his pills and they gave him the wrong pills and he's fucking having the heart attack or something on the ground
Mm-hmm.
and they're just sitting there laughing at him like, hey, you all right? It just, yeah. No, I don't even think so, man. I think stupid people, we're always going to encounter them. The only way to is to become aware and to say, okay, this person fits the criteria of being a stupid person. I have to be very smart to prevent them from doing anything that could be, dangerous or detriment. Mr. X, you have something?
No. I'm just listening.
Yeah. Jamal, welcome to the show, bro.
Hey,
Good to
Jamal.
see you, man. Yeah.
Nice to see you guys. You guys can hear me perfectly?
Yep.
Oh yeah.
Perfect. Yeah.
Nice, perfect. Yeah, I'm doing good. Uh, I'll be on for a little bit. But I've been listening to the stream, some really good knowledge going on here, and I do like it. And I just want to just hop in about, because we are talking about the immigration issue. We know that that is the biggest political debate that's going on right now. And, my thoughts on it is that it's all a major distraction. And I like what you said, MD, where you said that we shouldn't be looking at the immigrants, we should be looking at the lawmakers, right? The lawmakers are the ones who are purposely flooding the country with mass amounts of immigration from not like, and most of it is coming from third world countries. Like we're talking like immigrants from like Afghanistan and Pakistan and like Iraq, like these countries that we completely devastated, right? Obviously, if we, like if we destroy the countries and the wars we had with them, do you think that the immigrants that are coming in are going to like our country? Obviously not. But the lawmakers notice, but they don't care. They leave the borders open. They allow them to come in here, and then you saw what happened with the whole National Guard thing. Like but they do this on purpose because they want a distraction. They want us to look and scream at the immigrants and to be more and more, like distracted by the immigrants and not focus on, hey, the people in charge are not doing anything for this country. And we know why they're not doing anything for this country, because they're not the ones in charge. They're just they're just like puppets who are alluding to us that they have power, but they don't, And it's just this is the whole immigration issue is just a complete political distraction from what we're supposed to be really focusing on. And it's just like both sides are completely wrong. Like you have the people on the left saying we should keep the borders open because this is stolen land, and the other people on the right being like the immigrants are evil and we have to stop them. It's completely stupid. Like it is stupidity is what it is, and it's just there to make you stupid. That's all this is. And one of my favorite quotes is that you don't argue with the stupid person because he's just going to drag you down and he's going to beat you with experience.
Mm-hmm.
There's no winning this. There's no arguing with them. There's nothing with that. And it's just like the whole immigration, because I see some people in chat, like you guys need to realize this is all just a political psyop to once again make you hate the wrong people and make you be a distraction. That's all it is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, exactly. It's like they open the door, let immigrants in, and they say, "Oh, look at what the immigrants are doing." And it's like, wait a minute, but you opened the door. It's like you
And they,
opened it. Yeah,
Mhm.
it's like what? And nobody's seeing that. Everybody's like, "Oh, well, Trump said the immigrant." It's like Trump's the one who's allowing this to happen, just like
and
Biden.
And Trump isn't doing anything about it. Yeah, sure. Trump is doing a whole big show about he's putting a wall on the southern border. But did you know that a lot of violence, like immigrants are coming from the northern border? They're coming
Yeah.
through Canada, which is another open bordered like country for the same reason that the US is. The lawmakers are just openly bordered, but they're even worse than the US. Like they allow literally everyone in Canada right now. It's actually really bad. But a lot of violent criminals coming through Canada and they come through the northern border.
Mm-hmm.
But Trump is just focusing on the whole on like the southern border, right? And he's like, putting up a big show about it and all this other stuff. But we're getting like the statistics show at least like 40% of illegal border crosses are coming from the north side, we're not doing anything up there. It's all just a psyop show to distract us and to make us think that these people are, that the immigrants are the issue. Like it's just like the way I see it, man, is that like if you have a guy, if you own a house, right, and you remove the doors of the house, can you blame the robber from robbing your house? No, you're the dumbass who let your door open. And sorry for cursing, I forgot this is YouTube, but you are the person who left your who left your door open. You are the problem, not the robber. The robber is just like taking advantage of the situation. You're the one who decided to be an idiot and not have any protection. The lawmakers and the administrations know this, but they do it on purpose. And now the country is being flooded with these guys, right? And nothing against immigrants. They are amazing. Most immigrants are truly amazing. They're trying to come here to make a better life and whatnot. But we have to just be honest with ourselves. I mean, when you have millions upon millions of unvetted immigrants coming to the country, people that are not native here, who cannot assimilate to the culture, America is going to change. It's not the culture, everything about America is going to change. That's just how it is. If you just allow a flood of unvetted people to just come into the country, and they're doing this on purpose to destroy the country on the inside. Europe is already done. MB, have you seen those European videos? I mean, it's just like it's all a distraction, and it is bad. It is bad. And at this point, I just ignore the situation. I'm like, it is what it is. People are not going to deal with the real problem, and Mr. X, I see that you
Yeah.
unmuted
Well,
your
I was
mic.
just saying the real reason is it comes down to the nitty gritty is the elites. They want cheap labor. You take an Uber, or you have these Amazon Flex drivers, they're all from other places, all from, it's to keep the wages low. That's what it all comes down to. They don't give a damn about how it affects the American people. It's they have to keep the wages low. That's what it all always that's what it was always about. Not about stolen land or this and that. This
Yeah.
is yeah.
No, you're right. Because if they didn't do that, Americans would be paid more and it would be a better world. It would be
Yeah.
like, oh, wow, look at that. The minimum wage is $30,
Yes.
which is
It's
still,
yep.
yeah, exactly. And out of 30, it's pathetic that you only get 20. I mean, to think in New York City, a guy had a video recently. He showed that if you make $1.5 million working for a company, so as a W-2 worker form, you get to keep a little less than half. They take over 50%. You get 747 or something $1,000. So 750,000 is half of $1.5 million. You get just under that. You don't even get half of your money. And then when you see them say, oh, well, Argentina needs $40 billion, that's where that money comes from. This is the level of criminality that we see going on with the being, what was it? You're not supposed to have, it's supposed to be against the law to have taxation without representation. But as we see, these laws basically legitimize aggression. They legitimize it. They bless it. They subsidize it. I mean, I've heard people say that they really come to the obvious conclusion that what governments are is a scam, is a psychological scam to where they can have a monopoly on violence. So they're the only ones that can commit violence on people. And if violence is committed on them, it's terrorism. But if they commit terrorism on somebody, it's law. And that's the mental thing that the majority of people, it's very hard for them to see that because they have been dumbed down to the point that they're stupid. Because stupid, they try to say in some ways it's innate, but really I don't think it is. I think it can be cultivated. And when we see that, like how simple it is, just the simple things, to think that Europe is a continent, it begins with cognitive dissonances like that. Alexa says Jamal is right. In the UK, the #1 new boy name for the past 2 years, man, it is brutal, bro. It is brutal. And when you look at the UK and you see what's going on with with them letting in immigrants from Islamic countries in mass, and then not letting the people defend themselves against that, and everybody's complaining against that, which there is a problem with that. I mean, I heard that I don't know if it's just London or if it's the whole of Britain that has over 3,000 mosques. That's crazy. That's literally crazy. And the fact that people want to change the law into some Sharia type thing where, I mean, yeah, that's all messed up, but who let them in to do this? Who let people come in to say, all right, you're allowed to do these things? I mean, the mayor of London, I think, is Muslim. The mayor of New York City, too. Now, I'm not saying anything against these people that, I don't know about their behavior, but it should raise a red flag to say, wait a minute, this is kind of odd. And what was the choice? The previous mayor we had, or the governor, Cuomo? It's like, oh my goodness. I mean, it's so ridiculous. It's inundating. The corruption is inundating, man. It's inundating. It's like, yeah, all these people they're putting up there, none of them are really worthy to be in that position.
Of course not, because they are selected up there. They just put up there to be like puppets. They don't have any qualifications. They are literally put up there because they are brainwashed puppets who will follow any and all orders. And I got nothing against the Muslim people. The only thing I say though is that when I go to the UK, I go there to see British people, right? I don't go there to see Islamic people. Just as if I would go to Saudi Arabia and I see that the mayor of a city there is a white guy with blonde hair, I'm be like, what the hell? Like, I'm gonna be off put with that. I'm like, is this even Saudi Arabia? If I and they do they definitely like, and you've seen those videos, right? Where like in the cities of the UK and in the cities in some cities in America, and specifically like Dearborn, if you heard of that city, where like they're like the Muslims are like blocking the road, praying and all that. I just want to say that I don't believe that those are real Muslims. I believe those are just some type of like plants within the Muslim like community that are purposely trying to rile up the like population, make it seem like Muslims are like like caring about people, and like they're purposely trying to have some type of like division. Because all the Muslims that I speak to and I've like talked with, they don't believe that going to that blocking roads to like pray makes any type of sense and anything like that. I mean, it just doesn't make any sense. And the police aren't even arresting these guys. I'm like, why aren't the cops arresting these guys? They're literally doing something illegal. They're definitely some type of plants. Definitely plants. Those aren't actual Muslims.
Clearly, if people protest anything with the climate or something like that, they're going to get arrested. They're going to be out there. They're going to eventually say, all right, start pulling them out the road. But when you have the immigrants that do that, you start to see like, oh, the lawmakers are specifically saying stand down, just the way they said stand down on the 9/11 thing. So we see this pattern here, but not many people want to do anything because society,
and not even the immigrants really like support the cause of like blocking cars and all that stuff to like pray. I mean, it's just such obvious plants. It's just such obviously plants. And then people are like, look, these are what the Muslims are doing in this country and all that stuff. I'm just like, these are plants. These aren't actual Muslims. It's more like division that they're trying to put onto you.
As soon as they say, look at what they're doing, the first thing somebody should need to say is, who let them in? Who let them in? So you let them in and you're telling us that look at them, but you're not telling us look at you. Because you don't want us to look at you because you let them in, which is whoever's in charge. So they got like an ingenious way of being able to do it and to immediately point the finger. And then the zombies immediately go after that bait. They immediately go after it. Oh, the immigrants, this, I'm not saying the immigrants are right, but it's just like the drug dealer. and the big guys that bring in all the stuff. It's like, okay, even the guys that produce it in other countries, it can't. So in other words, they're trying to act like there's nobody dirty at the border patrol or in law enforcement that are letting this stuff come in. That's the only way it can get in. The only way it can get in.
They are only catching the like people that are not on their like payroll, that are not with
Yep.
them. That's the only ones that they are catching and getting getting rid of. 100%. I mean, and you have these Trump like boat like strikes, right? Which you guys have probably seen, right? Like he's like bombing boats that are like bringing in drugs and whatnot. I
Mhm.
mean, it's just more distraction. People saying that what he's doing is illegal now, and the admiral saying that he was given orders, but
Mhm.
the but Pete Hegseth is like the one saying that the admiral did. It's just political slop garbage that just doesn't even matter. We know those boats aren't actually carrying drugs. It's just some BS freaking fake crap that they keep putting into the media to make it. I can't, man.
So they could steal more money. So they can steal
Yes,
more tax money, basically.
yes. It's just like, come on, man. Like it's just this stuff is just slop. It's
Yep.
just slop, man. There's nothing else better to it. Political garbage slop, man. But yeah,
The-
like I just had to come on and just explain the whole immigration thing where people can
uh-huh.
start understanding that this stuff is just not like it's not
Yeah.
the immigrants, it's the lawmakers, man.
Yeah, it's the lawmakers, man. And they're using them, they're weaponizing, like we said earlier, they're weaponizing the stupid. They're
Yep.
weaponizing them against anybody that can think. And Christopher, good to see you, man. He's right. It's all about pushing the digital ID. They are pushing that problem reaction solution. It's here already, basically. It's here already. It's been here. Social credit score and all of that, that's social media.
Yep.
Social
Every
media.
single social media account has a special ID attached to it. And
Yep.
if you don't think that that ID that they don't know which accounts are yours, trust me, they know. It's all I mean, it's just it's obvious what's it called? It's like obviously some type of like they're
Yeah.
already tracking us through social media, right? I mean, I've already explained in a past stream that like anything that uses Bluetooth, throw away immediately, right? I mean, Kamala Harris openly admitted this, and the fools and the audience laughed about it.
Yeah.
I mean, how foolish, how stupid can it be when someone admits to you that they that they are spying on you, they are they are violating your rights right there, and you're laughing about it.
Yeah.
That is the American citizen nowadays.
American zombie.
That's the American zombie
Yep.
right there. Like I mean, openly admitted that they're spying. That if you have Bluetooth headphones, they can hear what you say. It's not secure. I mean, what in the heck? So I'm saying, you guys, I hope Mr. X and MD, you guys don't have any type of Bluetooth,
No,
anything
no,
that
I
has
don't
Bluetooth
use
on it.
Bluetooth at all, man. I never like to have anything like that thing is on your ear and you're transmitting the signal to your ear. It's like that can't be good. It can't be good. Now I understand people are in certain work positions and stuff where they have to have that, which I don't think is healthy. But I mean, they even say that the AirPods are really bad. Like they had like some studies out about them, the iPhone AirPods and any type of AirPods, because the electricity climbs up the wire. So now you got like an electrical device directly plugged into the phone with a current coming up to those AirPods because the current is what is releasing the sound. So it's either a direct signal through a Wi-Fi. The safest way is on speakerphone about 12 inches away from the phone because the radiation comes off the phone about 8 inches. I have a meter that I can check it with, and it's like you can't escape it almost, man. It's ridiculous because even on speakerphone, you're not going to really keep it 12 inches away, which is the safe thing. If you put it on a desk and you stay close to it, yeah, some speakerphones can pick up the voice pretty clearly, but convenience, man. People they know the psychology of the basic human being. And to do these things to dumb down that basic human being, that's the next thing. you know,
Of course.
yeah, to keep them, to keep them in a state of mind control, in a state where they think that they're smarter than they actually are. And that's where you see people are like, yeah, man, I know, this guy's going to change it. So they think that they're smart. They think that that's actually going to happen. And when it doesn't happen, they wait 4 years and then they fall right back into the same political zombie scheme. And they become, they're just a political zombie in hibernation.
Yeah.
And then it comes back out. Some of them don't even go in hibernation because you'd see they're just so zombified for the 4 years that the other party is in power. They just complain. The political zombies will go about and complain, never saying that it's basically all of the lawmakers, or I don't even. That's too good of a name for them. Many
All
of
the
them.
laws.
Yeah. I mean, wasn't the governor, I think, of Minnesota caught in $1 billion scam too? But now magically they're talking about the immigrants over there. So the immigrants stole billions through churches and stuff like that. But the governor had a scam as well, I think.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
And
yeah, yeah. Like I think I've seen that. I think there's some type of the governor was involved with some type of scam, and it got
yeah, some
exposed
type
on,
of
on
thing.
Twitter.
Yeah. There
And
was
it's
something
just,
going on.
but they really, changed the story to like, Somali immigrants are scamming people there. Like you get like the
Yeah.
Somali
And we're not saying
they let in the Somali
exactly. They,
laws
they
that
let
open up
in
these
they let
laws.
in people to do that. And nobody thinks of that angle. They say, wait a minute, you guys let them in, and we're not saying that they're not scamming people. We're not saying that. We're saying you let in people that came here and are scamming people. You let them in. So the problem, yeah, what they're doing, that's basic. Like, okay, yeah, anybody can see that, but these guys let them in. These politicians let them in and changed laws to where they can't be persecuted or prosecuted to a certain extent. So
And that's the biggest MD, that's the biggest thing with crypto is most of them that are coming in legally. People are brainwashed thinking that these are all illegal immigrants. No,
no,
a lot of
no,
these immigrants coming in are legal immigrants. They are using
exactly.
the system that the lawmakers make to get into the country legally. Majority
Hmm.
of these guys are not illegal. The
Hmm.
majority of them are they are legal immigrants.
Yeah,
People don't realize this.
yeah.
And Trump comes and
People.
saying, "Oh, I'm gonna stop illegal immigration." Like illegal immigration isn't a problem, right?
Mhm,
Like it's part of the problem. The
mhm.
major problem we have is just the amount of it's just the amount of legal immigrants we are
Yeah,
taking in as a country that are unvetted.
yeah. It's
Like
true.
all these like Somalis and Minnesota, they're all illegal immigrants.
Hmm.
All these ones that are scamming, but they purposely open the borders. They purposely have lax immigration laws to keep letting these guys in legally, so that they could sit there, cause havoc in these like communities, change the communities, so that the people can sit there and get mad at the immigrants, be distracted by the immigrants, and not focus on the people in Congress, people in the administration.
Hmm.
Like
It's
American jobs
perfect.
is my bad, my bad.
No, you better do a great job. I mean, it's also the perfect ingredients, Jamal, for a civil war because these immigrants they're going to be fighting over territory. I mean,
Yep.
the gangs and everything like that. They're introducing a whole level of gangs that are coming in, and they're all going to be fighting over territory. You're going to have civil war in no time.
Mr. X, I mean, like the way they're coming in, Mr. X is like, have you guys seen like Dearborn, Michigan?
I've heard of
I
it.
like
Yeah, yeah.
yeah, it's a complete Islamic struggle. They're coming in, but they're going to like select places and they're just filling them up, right? Like, you know, Minneapolis, it's just like Somalis. Dearborn, it's just Muslims, right? Like they're coming into these specific cities and they're filling it up with just these type of immigrants. So I think like it's some type of, I think what's going on about there being some type of like territory,
Well, look
I'm,
at
I'm saying that,
MS-13. You look at
yeah.
them. These Central American gangs, Mexican gangs. They're going to fight over territory in these poor neighborhoods. They're going to take them over. I think it already happened in California. They took over territory like crazy. And
it,
when you're
it, it,
dealing with the poor, that's just a powder keg.
and And what we're not talking about is the doing on purpose as well, letting in violent immigrants, illegal immigrants into the country. That way, they can push more and more anti-rights laws. They can push more and more laws like saying, hey, we need to enforce more like police. We need to have more of a like police state because look, the immigrants are destroying the country. There's so many criminals now. We gotta start, we gotta start spying on the American people more because look at the country. I mean, look at what's going on with the whole like DC thing, right? And I'm not trying to go too on about this because this is just all like slop, right? But like DC is just the beginning, right? He's sending in all these National Guard soldiers there and all sort of crap over there. And the whole National Guard shooting thing. I mean, I'm not gonna get too much into that, but obviously there's some type of psyop with that where they're trying to push more and more stuff because of that. But I mean, these are just the roots that are spawning in right now, and it's going to get worse. It's going to get worse, and they're doing this on purpose to cause like division, to cause some type of maybe martial law, as said Mr. X. It's going to be bad, man.
Mhm. Man,
So
it's
it's just
crazy.
yeah.
Yeah, no good.
But stupid people don't care. They sit there and they say, I voted for this. I
Yeah,
voted for this.
they feel proud of it. They're protecting the cage they built for everyone and trying to keep everyone in it. Anybody tries to get out of it, it's crabs in a bucket. They try to pull the person back in. Soon as you try to climb over the wall and say, I want out of the bucket, that they put everybody in this bucket. And it's like, then they open the gates and allow people to come here to do these things to say, look, you see, now we need to make more laws, like you said. Now they need to tighten the restrictions even more. To get rid of them, we need digital ID, like Christopher was saying. It's like, yeah, where money can be taken, people can be taken. Yep, exactly, man. It's so true. Is back the blue slop. Yeah. I mean, it's it's orchestrated. It's orchestrated to keep people against each other, to say, okay, now we don't want to look at corruption under the thing of saying, oh, you got to back these guys up. And I think that all came from when they tried to put that thing of defunding the police and stuff like that. Now, yeah, there's crazy, like Jamal had pointed out, ridiculous amount of little agencies of law enforcement. What would you say? It was in like over 10,000 or something,
Yeah,
right?
I believe there's over 18,000 separate
Yes,
laws.
I mean, yeah, it's ridiculous, man. I mean, corruption is on just another level.
Every
But
single one with the like different hiring standards, hiring practices, with the like different standards in
yeah,
general. I
I
mean,
think your mic is like it's coming in low again.
oh, my bad. Like, can you
Yeah,
is it good
now
now?
it's better. Yeah, now it's better.
Yeah, but like that's over 18,000 separate agencies with different hiring standards, with like different, internal affairs. It's like how are we gonna have any type of consistent policing in America when there's 18,000 separate
Mhm.
like standards?
Yep. Yeah. And each one of them, when one is under doing an investigation and about to find a guilty party, another one steps in. Oh, we'll take over. We have authority here, and then the guilty party never gets caught, and it lets the corruption run rampant. And then when somebody tries to say something like, "Oh, you got to defund them," then they're like, "Oh, back us up. You got to back the blue slop." And it's like, well, wait a minute. Look, we know there's good officers out there, but there is a lot of corruption. And the corruption, whenever you look at a politician, what people don't realize, that's just a cop in a suit. The name president is presiding officer. It stands for the presiding officer. So if people, they do these things so you don't look at them as that basic flat foot cop on the beat, but that's exactly what it is. It's just the highest level of that, to say these guys are all, basically crooks, because they're charged with taking care of society for the better, but that's not what they're doing. They're destroying it, and they're blaming it on other people. They're blaming it on the people that they themselves are letting into the country acting like it's the people's fault, but it's
And
really there.
and
It's a two-part thing. Yeah.
and MD, it's not just like it's another form of this too. You know, I mean, how tired are we of seeing people getting arrested and let out? Like this cases where guys are getting arrested with over 34 arrests,
Mm-hmm.
and yet he still gets out on bail. It's like, once again, people are mad at the criminals for this, but they're not mad at the lawmakers and at the judges
Mm-hmm. Yep.
for constantly allowing these guys to get out. I mean, like the immigrants as well, the bad ones that are doing crimes, they get, the cops, they like do their job, they arrest them, they
Mm-hmm.
throw them in jail, they get out that very same night on like $1,000 bail for like a
Mm-hmm.
violent assault. Like what?
Yeah.
And by the way, Andy, can you tell me what is the point of bail anyways? Is there like like why do we offer people like straight up murderers bail to get out to get put back in society? This doesn't make any sense.
Well, it again, when you really look into it, it says that okay, it's a flaw in the system to say the system can be wrong because they've locked up people that didn't do murders as if they did. So that's one thing to say, okay, they deserve bail until they can get a trial. The other thing is it's the overcrowdedness of it. And then the other thing is crookery. So they can let rich people get away with murder, basically. Like somebody had said, look, if the penalty is a fine for any crime, right? Then that means it's just a crime for poor people because rich people can always pay their way out of it. And when you look at almost all crimes, we see that. So we start to say this is not a system of law, of just. It's a system of corruption because rich people or people have connections get off on horrendous crimes that they've committed. And we see this. Oh, look, the president's son was an open crackhead, the last president. Never got in trouble. Never got in trouble. Pictures with him in the hotel with crack pipe in his mouth, all of that stuff. Never a problem. Laptop to China, not a problem. So the zombies will never realize that there are people that have been put above the law. There are many people that are above the law. And this is a problem. This is the problem that nobody wants to talk about, actually.
The law only governs the normal people. I mean, just the whole thing about a like traffic ticket, right? Traffic ticket costs like $100, right? For a normal person like us, that would suck to pay. For a multi-millionaire, he can speed all he wants. Oh, look, I got me a ticket. Oh, that's fine. It's $100. It doesn't matter. Like it's just the law only punishes the normal people.
Yeah, Alexis says his friend was murdered by a felon and he had 33 prior arrests. 18 of them was for violence, and yet he was granted bail on the last charge. And he ended her. That is so messed up, man. Oh my good, my condolences, man. That is like, I mean, there's a guy that he slapped a woman on her rear end and pulled her hair. The video is on the news. It happened yesterday or the day before. And he had 36, I think, prior arrests for sexual stuff. This guy. And the thing is, it shows us that it comes in all colors because this was a white male Caucasian. And we see that the other ones would be a black male. Other ones, there was a guy that just got beaten to death in the subway in Brooklyn, in New York City. And he was a Spanish guy that beat the guy to death. So, I was going to start showing the differences because here you have a white, a black, and a Puerto Rican or a Spanish person. I'm not sure if he was Puerto Rican, all committing these horrendous crimes but yet they were focused on just one type of person. So we're seeing that it does happen across the board. Some people will try to bring in the per capita argument, but when you look at the crimes that aren't reported, we see on camera crimes that are committed by certain types of people that aren't put in the statistics. And you start to see it happens across the board. They'll show you a narrative to try to make you think it's, one type over more than another, but it's usually, the problem is crime. That it's just showing us there's a problem, but the real crime is really on the government level. That's the big problem, that it's on the government level. Lieutenant Trans, man, good to see you, brother. It's been a while. Very good stream. I myself has noticed how much bail judges give out lately. It's getting worse and worse. They are definitely doing this on purpose. Definitely, bro. That's what people fail to see. They're doing it on purpose. Jamal points it out like clearly. It's clearly on purpose, man. And they try to point, oh, it's this person over here, it's these people over here. It's like, wait a minute. You made the law not only to let them in, but then you made the law protecting anything like that and releasing them when they do something. I think if a regular person did that, if an American did that, they wouldn't get released probably as easy. That's the way I'm thinking. Like, it's as if they're getting off lighter, actually.
But then what's the reason why? What's the main motivation? Is because they like them, or is it just for cheap labor?
I think cheap labor is part of
Like
it, but I think it's really to create stricter laws for everyone.
That too,
Yeah.
for sure.
Because they'll use that and say, you see, this is why everybody needs digital ID. We can track them. And people,
all these legal immigrants only benefit the government. There's really no con for the government. They get more cheap labor. They get more evidence and more stuff happening to showcase, hey, we need to spy on the American, citizens first. We need to make more laws against the US against the US, people, right? And then the third reason is to cause division. They want division.
I don't think the Somali immigrants in Minnesota have come over to work. Like the gang members are definitely not going to be working. So it's like, it's not going to be cheap labor. So a lot of the cheap labor thing, I think, is even a scam. Some of them will work, but the majority, no. Lieutenant Trans says, in the military, it's the opposite. If you disgrace the uniform in any way, even with a simple DUI, you'll get kicked out. You will get kicked out, jailed. Yeah, exactly. So it's harder. I remember they would say that. They would call it your military bearing. They taught us that when I first went in. When you say there's a sidewalk that has you walk, you have to walk straight and then walk left to get into a building, but there's grass there. You're not supposed to cut across the grass. They're like, you must keep your military bearing. To say, okay, you don't do things like that. You'll walk across the sidewalk, and then you'll turn and walk up the sidewalk and go into the building. You don't cut across the grass to make it shorter. That's just the way it is. And but if one of these other people do it, then it's okay. You know what? Let them out on bail, or whatever. And the whole system of that, it's basically, it fuels corruption, like you were saying, Jamal. It's like if somebody rich can pay the bail and get out, then in other words, they can jump bail. Or while they're out, they can get in touch with somebody who maybe pay somebody off, because we know a lot of people have gotten off that way. Well,
look at the rich where they go to prison. It's a completely different prison system for the for the white collar criminals. It's like a country club. I've seen it. They're walking around with their tennis rackets, and I think they get weekend furloughs too, so they can go home on the weekends. It's really a joke.
Yeah, I've seen that. They do weekend jails where you only go to jail on the weekend.
Yeah.
Then what the hell is the point of jail?
Yeah, it's to scare the poor. It's to persecute the poor, and not. What was that guy that they made the movie about, the Wolf on Wall Street, about Jordan something?
Peterson.
It's an amazing movie.
Yeah, they said he played tennis in jail. Yeah, yeah, exactly. Yeah,
So did
he said
Martha
Oh,
Stewart. She had a cooking
also,
class. They're all smiling
MD,
and happy.
MD, real quick, that is a huge black pill movie to showcase the corruption there is because even in the movie, the FBI agent, right? When he first meets with them, the main character, the Wolf of Wall Street, I forgot his name, but he was saying, you know, how much it must suck for him to like always be on a train back while he's at a yacht and chilling or whatever, right? And then the FBI, and he's like, and then he pretty much says like, I could give you some money if you just leave me alone. The FBI agent's like, oh wait, like he said it again. He was trying to bribe me, right? But like pretty much what he was saying was that like it must suck that he's on the train with the like dirty suit, right? Well, at the end of the movie, when the FBI guy wins, at the end of the movie, the last scene is it shows him sitting on the train alone after he put him in jail for like what, like I think 6 years, whatever. But he's on the train alone in his like dirty suit, looking like depressed, right? And then it cuts to the main character being in prison, but he's over there enjoying his life. And like it's a huge black pill showcasing that like in the end, like the he was right. Like he pretty
Wow.
much got away with it, and the FBI agent is still he's still making ends meet being on the train alone. Like it's just
Yeah, yeah,
that's a good movie.
yeah.
That's a
It's
great
like
film movie.
he's a federal agent, but he's taking the subway.
Yes, that's the point.
Yeah,
It's like he has
it
to take a
shows you like,
subway.
yeah, this guy supposedly has got a much harder life, and the guy, the criminal he puts away, is playing tennis in a fucking country club, doing his time. Like I think he said he played tennis 10 hours a day, reading books, shit like that. Never have to worry about it. Never have to worry. Just hey, like you said, living his life. Just saying,
And when he got out, he was a millionaire, and that movie made him millions, and his book made him millions. Nothing, pretty much nothing happened to him. He was scamming
wow.
people, and then he got out and he made millions. While the FBI agent, guess what? He's still making like just his base like paycheck.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Just it's just wow. Like
Yeah,
that movie is just a black pill.
I think he had a YouTube page for a while. Like he did a couple of videos. I don't know if he's still on it. But yeah, he was saying stuff like, it's not even about like as much as like money or something. He's saying it's who you know. He's like, you get somewhere, and it's not about skill. He was saying it's more about who you know. It's like, do you know this person? Like, who are you? And we see that when people know who you are, just like when he went away, they knew who he was. They knew who was coming. They knew he had money. Maybe he paid or whatever, but it wasn't the same time. It wasn't the same time. Yeah, it just as somebody who would be poor, like Lieutenant Trans was saying, like he said a lieutenant colonel harassing a junior female, and all he got forced to do was retired since he served more than 20 years. But then if a listed person would have did that, yeah, he would have got jailed. He would have got kicked. Yeah, it would have been brutal. And that's the double standard. That's the double standard that we all face.
That is actually crazy. That's crazy because when I was in the Air Force, my like platoon sergeant got like caught out. He was also like cheating, but
Mhm.
because he served more than like but he just got forced like retired. And
Yeah,
then
exactly.
another one, and then a guy in my like platoon, right? He was just making sexual jokes to another like female soldier. She just like reported it. Guess what happened to him? He got kicked out with the like general like discharge. It's like
Holy smokes.
it's like
That's
they see
crazy.
you differently. But you got to realize, though, MD, it makes sense because the people who are deciding to kick you out, they're the officers, right? They're typically like a colonel or something, right? So of course he's gonna show out for his own like people or for the senior enlisted, but he's not
Mhm,
gonna give a damn about the low enlisted.
mhm. Yeah. No, you're right about that. That we're the cannon fodder. And that's why I was never comfortable with being an enlisted man. I always said that I need to be an officer. I was like, if I was going to stay in there, you have to be an officer. I would see the sergeants, the first sergeants, and all of that. It's like, yeah, I couldn't. Yeah, it's like it doesn't make sense. You got guys that are basically the brass is living like god status almost in the military, and the enlisted men are just straight up slaves, just straight
Yeah,
up slaves. Yeah.
100%. Yes, I mean, like the generals send the men. The generals send the men like to war. The men fight it, and the generals get all the credit. That's
Yeah.
that's all it is.
No,
That's all
it's
it is. I mean, when you
clearly.
think of amazing like when you think of amazing World War II soldiers,
Mm-hmm.
they don't tell you about the guys in the wars. They tell you about General Eisenhower,
Mm-hmm.
General Patton,
Yep. Yep.
General
And they're not the ones
like
never
Douglas.
on the front line, just hiding, basically. Basically hiding.
Yeah,
While other people do the do the dirty work, basically. And again, the laws of stupidity. It's like benefiting others, because that's what we all were as enlisted soldiers. Even low level officers get put in this thing. We saw it with Vietnam. Vietnam, I think they shot down a 2-star general in a helicopter. They weren't playing around. And it's like, you look at it like, wow, this is if you're out there, right? And that's the laws of stupidity again. You got somebody that's benefiting the weapons dealers and stuff and the bankers that are funding the war while causing detriment and ending themselves. Could cause death and detriment, lifetime of turmoil, nightmares, and all of that from what they went through over there. So that's the textbook definition of what they would call somebody who is basically stupid, who is unaware or ignorant to the fact that they are putting themselves at risk to help somebody else. So basically, with no benefit to themselves, would actually detriment to themselves, and they're that's the helpless, basically, the helpless definition of stupid. Because like I had showed earlier in the pictures, this definition here, the stupid definition is pulling the guy trying to help him, but pulling him into the boulder. But the helpless one is pushing him out the way. So that's the soldier helping the banker and the weapons dealer make money while he himself is getting hit with the rock, while he himself is the one that's in the field at war. That's the textbook definition of helplessness, of a helpless, stupid person, saying, look, they're going to do that in that way. The intelligent person, the second picture, pushes him out the way and helps himself. So he knows both of you guys got to get out the way. The bandit will pull a person in the way, and the bandit are what they do. They weaponize the stupid. They'll use them as their shield. The laws of stupidity are real, and it's something that everybody needs to learn. I'll be writing about it soon, but I would like to do the human origin first, hopefully before Christmas. But I appreciate you guys. Lieutenant Trans, man, it was a pleasure seeing you again, man. Says, yeah, Patton, man. Yeah, Patton, clearly, yeah, man. I hope everything is cool with you, man. We've been on for about 2 hours. I'm gonna call it an early night. It's 1:42 over here. Jamal, man, thank you for coming on, Mr. X. Thank you, man.
thank you B, for letting me on.
Thank you. Good to see you,
Just like,
Jamal. Thanks for the stream, MD.
Yeah, man.
like
Take
see you,
care.
Mr. X.
You got it.
Great.
Have a good night.
Have a good night.